what's it like dealing with other progressives? Because you critique Biden very fairly, because I don't consider Biden progressive at all. I barely consider Bernie Sanders or AOC progressive anymore. They say they are. They say the right things, but their actions say very, very different things. So is it hard for you as a progressive to critique other progressives?
For sure. And I mean, that's when you're dealing with the most difficult conversations, honestly. I feel like, especially on the left, I'm sure this happens on the right too. I just don't exist there. Like, it can get very infighty, and it can become a situation where you attack the people closest to you because they're closest to you. And that sucks. But for the most part, I try and build relationships. I try and sit down every conversation I have with people, and I kind of put it like this: like, everyone, I advocate for things like systemic racism and how there's massive differentials in the amount of wealth Black people have versus the amount of wealth white people have, not because necessarily any one specific person is racist, but because the accumulation of policies over the past hundreds of years have put these people in a worse position from the moment they're born, and they go to a bad school. They don't get taught well. They don't get taught personal finance. They don't get taught whatever, how to be successful. They only see adults around them who are also in poverty, and they don't get the same teachings and learning and valuable lessons that I received through no fault of either of our own, right? And I think a lot of progressives understand that when it comes to disenfranchised minorities. But they don't understand that when it comes to anyone else. They don't understand that someone could hold a conservative position because they were just had shitty teachers. They grew up in a conservative bubble. They weren't exposed to these ideas. And everyone is on their own path of learning and understanding, and you should approach them as such. And that's how I try and treat my conversation. So when I talk to people on the left or on the right, no matter what, I'll get vitriol thrown at me, and I feel like it's my job to just be patient and calm with them, and until we can just have a normal, level-headed conversation. I get attacked from both the left and the right. Both have a lot of animosity, but when I get attacked from the left, it does hurt more. Because it's like, bro, we should be agreeing. like you can disagree with what I'm saying, but drop the personal attacks. We should be building a community here, not tearing each other down. And unfortunately, that does happen quite often.
Yeah, it does. I think I do. I agree. Like, there's, even with people, people on YouTube that I do follow, there is infighting, like the force to vote. 2020, Nancy Pelosi was up for speakership again. That was a big battle between progressives on the left. Mm-hmm. Should be forced to vote to not and withhold your vote for Nancy Pelosi to get a Medicare for all vote on the floor. Now, would it have passed? No, it wouldn't have. Medicare for all would not have passed. You would not have accomplished your goal. That's not the point, though, in my opinion. This is my opinion now. You would have gotten a vote. What is the point of Congress? They vote on things. That's really what they're supposed to do. And you get an idea of, okay, where is that? And you want to put money where their mouth is. And we just saw it this past election with McCarthy. They forced to vote. You want to be speakership, you got to do these concessions. Now, those going to happen? Some of them have, some of them might. We'll see with the debt ceiling. But do you remember the forced to vote thing? And with progressives specifically, how progressives attacked that issue? Where did you fall on that?
So, my memory of the specific mechanics of that issue is a little hazy, but in general, I'll speak more generally. I think that there are two camps in this. There's progressives who are for electoralism, and there's progressives who want to burn the whole system down. And the progressives who want to burn the whole system down, they often do say things like, oh, you shouldn't vote for Biden in the general because he's just a stopgap mechanism that's going to slowly cause, conservative progress, whatever. And it's like, sure, but you're playing with people's lives, like real lives in this situation. They at least treat this with the weight it deserves of people are going to die that wouldn't otherwise have if you don't vote for, the Democrat in the general. You don't have to support Democrats, the DNC, and, as a whole, but you should always be fighting to win electorally. Like, that is the goal of the game. If you don't play the game, the only other option is armed revolution. And I'm not picking up a gun and killing anyone. And the vast majority of people aren't. And in fact, non-violent revolutions are twice as successful as violent revolutions. Work the electoral system, play the game. It's the first time in human history that our ruling class has given the general population tools to overthrow them peacefully. And you should take advantage of that instead of just, oh, well, I can't support this because, like there are people who, I'll never vote for Nancy Pelosi because she's XYZ, which I don't like Nancy Pelosi, but like, come on.
I don't think you ever should vote. I don't think you ever should vote for, I mean, obviously we can't vote for Nancy Pelosi. We're not in her district. We're not millionaires.
Exactly.
But the idea of don't vote for Biden because Republican bad, if you vote that way and that's why you voted, hey man, I get it. Like, I get it. Trump is bad, right? And Republicans are out of their fucking mind. Democrats are useless, but Republicans are out of their mind. I think that's fair in my mind. However,
it's the old Simpsons meme, like the Democrats, like we want to make everything work.
Stampy
Democrats, we can't govern. And
we can't govern. Dude, that episode came out in 1994, and it's still accurate. It's still accurate. It's fucking nuts. But my point is, Democrats know that mentality exists. They're going to vote for us because they're not going to vote for them. Now, that doesn't work because they're never going to change. So if you play the game, you're just going to continue playing their game. And they had that mentality in 2016, and look what happened. Trump won. And if Trump just was embraced mail-in voting, guess what? He would have won again. And what's going to happen in 2024? Who knows? It's going to be Trump versus Biden, most likely, and I still think it's a coin flip. So if you are a progressive, yes, play the game, force the vote, do what you are elected to do, like an AOC or the squad. I'm going to pick on the squad because it's easier to pick on the squad. You are elected to go there and challenge Pelosi, and you're not doing it. The whole thing with what was the bill, the construction bill,
Build Back Better.
Like it was supposed to be the two bills. And the progressive squad they froze and they got a shitty bill, the infrastructure bill. And they were playing the game and then they just didn't. So you do have to play the game, but you got to play it correctly. I think that's where a lot of the infighting is with progressives, is that they don't know how to play it correctly because it's saying, oh, I'm going to buddy with Pelosi and get rewarded for it. No, you're not. You're not, because they hate you. They fucking hate you. And I think progressives need to realize that. They're not on your side. Biden is not on your side if you're a progressive.
Yes. And while that is being said, my brand name is Counterpoint Politics. I'm going to provide a counterpoint to what you're saying. While I generally agree with you that like the squad can lack balls, for lack of a better term, they to look at this like silver lining perspective, and this is something that a lot of people, even like progressives, don't really realize, is that, and again, you don't necessarily have to be a socialist if you're a progressive, but like the movement of socialism is generally aligned with your worldview more than the movement of conservatism, right? So like there are more registered socialists, like people registered to a socialist party in this country than at any point in our history. There are more socialist members of Congress, I believe there's 9 of them now, than at any point in our history. We are seeing more labor movements, more unions forming in the last 2 years than at any point in modern history. And there are a lot of reasons to be hopeful. Like, I can criticize the squad all I can, but the progressive movement in general is stronger now than at any point in my lifetime. And that doesn't necessarily mean I think we have a very strong position, but it means, hey, I do think that the kind of horseshoe theory that I was talking about before, even the Americans who, like, Americans know they're fed up. Americans hate Congress. They hate the two-party system, and they know that something's got to give. And conservatism in general says, let's keep doing things the same way. And so, like, I think that people across the spectrum identify the right bad guys, right? They identify corporate greed. They identify government corruption. Like, these are things that people on the left and the right I see saying all the time.